In Alabama, we have so many parents who are not married to one another. And this presents really interesting considerations for the father, because our paternity laws in Alabama, which means the rules about parenting and parentage, always favor a marriage. And so here's what you got to keep in mind. If you are married to someone legally and you've been separated for years, if you have any other children with any other man, ladies, your husband is still the legal father. That may scare you because there are probably reasons you're no longer with that man who you've been separated from for 4 or 8 or 20 years. And now you found some other guy you really love, but you've never married him because you're still legally married to your husband. Keep in mind, that husband is still legal father, even if everybody knows that he is not the biological dad. He is the legal father of every one of your children born during your marriage. And that may be good, or it may be scary to you because you may not want him to be the legal dad. But if he is not willing to give up, or what we call repudiate his paternity, he is the legal father of every child born in your marriage. Even if there are DNA tests to show he's not the dad, it's irrelevant from a legal perspective. That husband is the legal father. So keep that in mind. Now, if parents are unmarried, and you don't have a husband in the situation like that can cause issues there, if parents are just two unmarried people and they have a child together, if the father signs the birth certificate or even an affidavit of paternity in the hospital, which is just a little document they're going to have you sign swearing under oath that you're the father, if you sign that, that establishes you as the legal dad, but it does not give you any custodial rights, any visitation rights, and it doesn't give the mom any right to receive child support at first, although those all can come later on. So you may sign an affidavit of paternity in the hospital. However, you have no custodial rights. You have no right to go demand to see that child or to get that child or to take the child to live with you. All the custodial rights vest in the mom when parents are not married. So you got to keep that in mind. Many times we've had people come into our office who are expecting a baby, they're unmarried, they're not planning to get married, and we recommend that even when you're getting along just perfectly, maybe if you're still living in the same home, you need to have the court legally recognize your paternity and grant custodial rights however the court determines or however you can agree upon. Some people agree to share joint custody, and then they don't lay out a visitation schedule because they live in the same home. Or maybe they don't live together, but they've decided to share true joint time with a child. You need to always get some kind of an order of adjudication if you're not on the birth certificate, or if you are, you need to get some kind of custodial rights established, because otherwise the dads have no custodial rights to those children. Now, you may think that's unfair. You may think, that doesn't work for me. Why should we have to do these things when it's 2024, 2025, whatever year you're watching this video? Why should it matter to me now? Here's why it matters. As a parent, you want to be involved in the life of your child. And if you and the other parent get sideways with each other in the future and you're unable to agree, that mother could cut the father out from any contact with the child unless that father has established some kind of custodial rights or visitation rights with the child. It's very important, even if you get along, to do it now. Now, a thing that we run into sometimes is people don't want to go to the expense of having a paternity test. You don't always have to have a genetic DNA test. If both parties will sign an affidavit agreeing that you're the father, that's acceptable to the court. Or people can show up in court and can just agree and put their right hand up and swear under oath in court that this man is the dad. The court can legally recognize the dad in that way. So a DNA test may not be necessary. Many times when people are unmarried, they may not be restricted to one sexual partner, even though they may be in a relationship. There may be others that they've been involved with. And there may be some question about, is this child my child or is it not my child? We recently had a case where a husband, he became a husband because the fiance told him, you're the father of my unborn child. So he married this lady. And then what happened is he found out after the fact he is not the father, and he was able to get his marriage annulled because that paternity issue was the sole basis of his marriage to this individual. And so there are all kinds of reasons that if you're unmarried, it's very important to take appropriate steps to make sure that you get your legal paternity established as soon as possible. And if you're the mother, you could also get legal paternity established even if the father won't agree. We often have individuals who will call our office and say, well, he won't agree to pay child support, or he won't agree to come see the child, or he won't agree to sign on the birth certificate. Well, here's the good news for you, Mom. He doesn't have to agree. You can file a contested petition to establish paternity, visitation, custody, child support, all these things in one document that we would draft for you that'll get filed with the court. Then we get the dad served. and he has to show up in court, and he will have to maybe take a DNA test, or maybe he'll agree in court that he is the dad. And then even if he does not want to agree to anything, you still are able to get paternity established to protect your child and make sure you're provided for, to make sure that everything your child needs is going to be taken care of, because you were willing to take appropriate steps as a parent to protect your child and to do what's necessary for that child's best interest. So whether you're a parent that's the mother, a parent who's the father, if you're married to another individual, there are all kinds of considerations that can be very confusing, because hopefully this is the only time you have to deal with something like that. In our office, we deal with these issues all over Alabama every single day of the year. So reach out to us right now, and we'd love to help you get all your questions answered about paternity and know how you can protect the rights of you and your child. What are the rights of unmarried fathers in Alabama? First of all, keep this in mind. If the mother of your child is married to another man, even if they've been separated for years, that husband is the legal father. You can file a petition for paternity, and that legal father may be willing to what we call repudiate or give up his parental rights, because if they've been separated for a long time, there's a good chance he doesn't want to get stuck paying child support for your child. And so I would encourage you to go ahead and file a petition for paternity, because as an unmarried father, you may be the legal father. You may have signed the birth certificate or an affidavit of paternity in the hospital, or your child's mother may be willing to sign an affidavit stating that you're the dad and let you file it with the court, but you have no custodial rights to that child until the court gives those to you. We help dads all over Alabama get established as a father and get all of their rights, whether it's custody or visitation, every day. It's important to handle it early on, because the longer you go on, the more difficult it may be to acclimate that child into your life. One consideration a lot of dads make is that you want your son or your daughter to carry your last name. You feel like, I'm the dad, they should have my last name. Well, as long as the child is young and they're not really established, like especially if they're not in school yet, it may be possible to get your child's last name changed to your last name, even though the mother may balk about it. She may not want that, but the court may award that to you. If you have any questions about those things, reach out to us today. If your child's mother has gone to DHR for a child support enforcement case, you may get served with a petition to establish your paternity, and you'd have a chance to show up in court and have usually DHR pay for a paternity test, or there may be minimal cost for that. If you are going to file your own case, a private petition, the cost can be higher. And so keep in mind, if you're an unmarried father, you need to have a DNA test to show that you are legally the dad. And then we'll present that to the court with the appropriate petition to ask the court to legally recognize you as the father. There can be cost involved in that, certainly, but it's something that is a great investment for you as a parent to be able to establish your legal rights over your child. A lot of unmarried dads are afraid to file a petition for paternity because they're afraid they're going to get stuck paying child support. Well, honestly, if you're not the custodial parent, you're probably going to pay child support in almost every instance. But we've had a lot of dads who come to us and request the court and are awarded joint custody, or some even know the mom has some issues going on, and so they filed and have been awarded full custody of that child. Paternity tests and DNA tests and all the things you can do to legally establish your paternity have an effect on whether or not or how much you're going to pay in child support, as well as the custodial rights that you'll get, whether you get visitation, whether you get custody, whether you have joint custody. All these things play together, and we would encourage you to reach out to our office today if you have any questions about the way that a paternity test can affect your child support payments or the custody of your child. So right now, you should reach out to our office. If you are an unmarried father or an unmarried mother, or maybe if you're a married mom who has a child with someone who's not your spouse, we encourage you to call us today, because you probably have a lot of questions about the way that DNA testing can affect paternity, can affect visitation, can affect custody or child support. We handle these cases all over Alabama every day, and we'd love to talk with you. So reach out to us right now.